Made in Hollywood.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Am I going to think that the film is delightful?
Well, this was when Larry Kasdan, who I wrote the script with, and I started working on the story, and he wrote Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, so we know something about the Star Wars universe. We started working on the story. He said, the only mandate we should have is that the movie is delightful. And what he meant by that is, not that it's always happy or silly, but that the story be the kind of story, as Star Wars always was, that just surprises you at every turn, that makes you laugh, that makes you feel, that has a big heart. And even when things get intense and heartbreaking and scary, even there can be delight, because it's all happening in the kind of in a universe, in a world where anything is possible, and it's ultimately hopeful.
You've talked about how, from the very beginning, you wanted to focus on feelings. Mm-hmm. What were people feeling when they first saw that first Star Wars Episode 4? And you wanted to carry that on into this film. Mm-hmm. So what were the feelings that you actually had when you first watched it?
Well, for me, the first thing that comes to mind is awe at some of the scale and spectacle. But the most important, I think, was a joy at experiencing these characters, how funny they were. I mean, the relationships, the attitudes, the desperation of these characters, the way that the droids would communicate, the way that Han Solo would respond to Leia. There was a kind of unbelievable relatability to the comedy of that movie. And if that's all Star Wars had, it would have been enough. But it also had an unbelievable sense of scope and scale, amazing adventure, great romance, some of the best music, sound effects, visual effects you've ever heard or seen. It was a remarkable accomplishment sort of at every turn. And so the goal that we had was to take people back to a place that they've been before, but not for nostalgia, but to tell a brand new story that moved forward.
The coolest thing is knowing that you use so many practical effects and sets.
Yeah.
Knowing that the robots are real and they're actually moving next to the actors.
Yeah, that was a big deal. I mean, we were encouraged at the very beginning to go CG on a lot of that stuff, but what we really realized was that one of the things that made the first Star Wars films feel so authentic and so legit was that they were things that were shot often in places like Tunisia for the deserts of Tatooine. So we ended up going to places like Abu Dhabi or Skellig Island in Ireland, or to the forests of Wales. We built these enormous interior and exterior sets at Pinewood Studios, and this was all to actually film on actual film the story we were telling, and not just do it against blue or green screen and put it in later.